Have you ever felt like you've just hit a wall with your spoken English? You know, you're studying, you're putting in the hours, but you just can't seem to break through to that next level? Well, if you feel stuck, this is for you. Okay, let's dive into the 5 keys that can totally unlock your fluency. You know, I once heard a language student say something that just perfectly described this feeling. They said, "The English in my head is like a Ferrari, but when I speak, it's a car crash." I mean, wow. In your mind, the ideas are perfect. They're fast, they're powerful, a Ferrari. But the second you open your mouth, it all just comes out wrong. It's an incredibly common frustration, and honestly, it's a sign that you're ready for a real breakthrough. So, does that sound familiar? Do you feel like you're just stuck in second gear and you can't shift up? I promise you, you are not alone. So many learners hit this plateau where it feels like progress is just impossible. That feeling is real, it's valid, and most importantly, it's something we can absolutely get past. Now, here's where things get interesting. When we feel stuck, we often look for, more exam tricks or some secret technique. But the real issue? It isn't about passing a test. The core problem is usually the overall level of your spoken English. So the takeaway here is we need to stop looking for shortcuts and start building a much, much stronger foundation. And that foundation, well, it begins with a pretty fundamental shift in how you approach learning. Our very first key is all about how we learn to speak in the first place, and it starts with your ears, not your eyes. For decades, language education has been built around books, right? We learn grammar rules, we read texts, and then we try to speak. But think about it, that's completely backward. Spoken language is learned through sound, through rhythm, through music. The modern, effective way completely flips the script. Speaking and listening have to come first. And this just perfectly illustrates the point. I mean, check out this timeline. Humans have been speaking for over 10,000 years. Writing? That's a pretty recent invention, and it was only created to capture the sounds we were already making. Language began with the mouth and the ear. So why on earth would we try to learn it primarily with our eyes? Let me put it this way. Imagine Lionel Messi shows up at your door and asks you to play football. Would you say, "Oh, no thanks, Leo. I'm just gonna read this book about it instead"? Of course not. That's ridiculous. Speaking is a practical skill, just like playing a sport. You have to do it, not just read about it. And the benefits of this listen-first approach are huge. You'll start to pick up the natural flow of the language, not those stiff, awkward textbook phrases. Your pronunciation will get so much better because you're actually mimicking native sounds. And maybe most importantly, you'll learn the context, how and when to actually use the words, which is something a book can never, ever fully teach you. You're learning the music, not just reading the notes. Okay, so we're listening first. That's step 1. But how do we turn what we hear into fluent speech? Well, let's move on to our second key, which is all about technique. We need to automate our vocabulary. What does automate even mean here? Well, it means making a skill so deeply ingrained that it becomes second nature. It's like driving a car. When you first start, you think about everything, the clutch, the gear stick, the mirror, but after a while, you're on autopilot. That's our goal for your vocabulary, to use words and phrases without even thinking about it. And here is a super simple but really powerful way to do that. It's called the repeat and juggle method. Step 1 is simple. You listen to a phrase. Let's say, "I love Paris." Step 2, you repeat it exactly as you heard it. Get the sound right. And then step 3, you juggle it. Change one word. "I love Hanoi." "I love Manchester." Or you could change the tense. "I loved Paris." "I will love Paris." Now, this juggling technique leads us to another really crucial idea. To really speed things up, you need to stop thinking about single individual words. The real key to fluency is learning in chunks. These are groups of words that just naturally belong together. Think about building a house. You could lay one single brick at a time. It works, but it's slow and it requires constant thought. Or you could use pre-made sections of a wall. That's what chunks are. Learning a phrase like heavy rain instead of the word heavy and the word rain separately is just faster, it's more natural, and it's way more accurate. It frees up your brain to focus on the big picture. Okay, so we have the foundation and we have the technique, but there's often one more giant hurdle standing in our way, our own mind. So key number 3 is all about breaking through those psychological barriers and gaining real solid confidence. So here it is, the simple, hard truth. Confidence isn't something you find one day. It's something you build brick by brick. And the only way to build it is by consistently stepping just outside of your comfort zone. If you only ever do what feels easy, like watching a movie by yourself, you'll never be ready for a real conversation. So what this really means is you have to get used to the very things you're probably trying to avoid. You need to get used to interacting with other people. You need to get used to that nervous feeling in your stomach. You have to get used to making mistakes and just being uncomfortable. Those feelings, they aren't signs of failure. They're literally signs of growth. Let's completely reframe the goal here. The objective is not to eliminate fear. I mean, even the most professional performers get nervous. The real goal is to get so used to that feeling that you can perform anyway. You build resilience. You learn to speak while you're nervous. And honestly, that is a superpower. All right, we have our foundation, we have the technique, and we have the mindset. Now let's talk about key number 4, which is how we put this all together with the right tools. It's time to immerse yourself. Think about it. The classroom is a wonderful, safe bubble. The language is slow, your teacher helps you and corrects you, and that's great for building a foundation. But the real world? The real world is messy. People speak fast, they don't correct you, and they just expect you to keep up. So to build real fluency, you have to leave that bubble and dive into the real thing. And the great news is that today, immersion is easier than ever before. You are surrounded by authentic English. You can turn your commute into a classroom with podcasts. You can watch news broadcasts, interviews with your favorite celebrities, or fascinating TED Talks. Even watching films exposes you to the natural rhythm and speed of spoken English. The key is to turn that passive listening into active, engaged learning. So there you have it, the 5 keys to finally getting unstuck and unlocking your fluency. Number 1, start by listening first. Really tune your ear to the language. 2, automate your vocabulary with that repeat and juggle technique. 3, build your fluency with chunks, like using big building blocks. 4, gain real confidence by pushing your comfort zone, like a runner training for a marathon. And finally, 5, immerse yourself in real, authentic English every single day, like a swimmer just diving into the ocean. And really, this all comes down to a choice you have to make every single day. You can stay where it's safe and comfortable, or you can take one small step forward to build the confidence you really want. So the question is, which one will you choose today?